Welcome to the Startup Leader Show, where we learn lessons from leading founders and startup executives. I'm your host, Lisa Dreher, and I'm really excited to introduce our guest for today, Adi Yeragudi. He is the CEO and co-founder of AV SpaceTech. Welcome to the show, Adi.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. So maybe you can start by giving us just a little bit of background about yourself and AV SpaceTech.
Sure. A little bit about myself. I'm a recent graduate from Rutgers. My background is in software engineering, information technology. Actually, just graduated this August, along with my co-founder. And the way we kind of got started in this industry was my co-founder, who was running a research effort at Rutgers, and you know aerospace is not that big in New Jersey, but at Rutgers it seems to be a really big community. And he asked me to come on his team as a software engineer to help with programming a lot of the gauges and test stand work while he was doing his aerospike research. Um, and I'd never considered aerospace as a potential career path before. I kind of fell into it, and finance was and traditional big tech was sort of where my ambitions lied previous to this. Uh, but as soon as I saw what all the whole team was doing and what we could do and what was capable, I fell in love with the industry. So, me and my co-founder, we said, you know what, let's open a shop, let's start a business. And his interest lied mainly propulsion systems. So I really wasn't familiar with that. I was like, what is propulsion exactly? And he gave me a bunch of textbooks. He started introducing me to the world of propulsion, and I started to really fall in love with it. And before I knew it, we're working with Glenn Research to commercialize, well, and Dr. Michael Patterson at Glenn Research, to commercialize a technology called the annular ion engine. So a little bit about what the annular ion engine is. It's essentially a gridded ion thruster. So mainly there's two main uh, electric propulsion systems in the industry. One of them is a Hall effect thruster, which is well used and well documented in the industry, as well as a gridded ion thruster. So a lot of the electric propulsion startups you see now, they use Hall effect thrusters. And one of the main reasons is because of their thrust to input power ratio. So there's a trade-off always in electric propulsion between three things: between thrust, ISP, which is like the fuel efficiency, as well as the input power that you're able to put into the system. So thrust to power obviously is a very, very important metric for electric propulsion, um, because especially as orbital maneuvers become more commonplace and they become more of a requirement, so does the need for improved thrust to power efficiency. So Hall effect thrusters, also their simplicity in their design, the reliability has always been used. Um, the annular ion engine, right, is a gridded ion thruster, so it has inherent ISP benefits to a Hall effect thruster, as well as improved thrust to power efficiency based off of its design. Um, Another amazing part about this engine is that it's actually really scalable to a wide variety of applications. So if you want really high thrust, you can input a chemical thruster in the inside of the ring. So it's almost shaped like a ring. You can put a chemical thruster inside. You can have a hybrid engine where it has a Hall effect thruster inside with a ring on top. You can have multiple rings that act as separate engines. So it's a really scalable architecture that we're trying to develop here.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what types of spacecraft do you see this being used on, and what's your timeline?
So we're looking to do an in-space demonstration by the end of 2023, or no, sorry, yes, sorry, 2023, um, to mid 2023.
Mhm.
Um, we're looking at pretty much mini satellites and up. So our main goal is for the 100 kg to plus satellites and spacecraft. So, and we're not. It doesn't necessarily need to be limited to satellites. It can be any sort of spacecraft that needs propulsion systems that we can tailor our system to.
Got it. Wow, that's really exciting. So, we invited you here today to talk a little bit about just the development and growth of AV space tech. So, maybe we can jump into things and just what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned so far?
I think the biggest lesson is that you can't do everything yourself. Um, when you're running a startup, there's no roadmap directly for what to do, where to start, how to actually scale your company and move. There's a lot of resources that show you that, but um, learning how to really prioritize your time and have strong executive functioning is very, very important in the beginning. So I would say the most important things to really focus on um, is really first try to identify a problem that really needs to be solved, and then work back from creating a solution in that manner. Don't just pick a product that you like and try to fit it into a variety of problems. We were lucky in the sense that our product did solve problems, but if I was to do it again, I would have first identified, okay, this is the niche we want to move into.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, having a little bit of coughing fit here.
Sure.
In any case, so in terms of the biggest keys to your success so far, um, what would you say are the biggest keys?
Um, Really surrounding yourself with people you trust and who are willing to go through a lot. Because I mean, we honestly, when we started off, um, the most important thing was to find people that are willing to stick through a lot of difficulty, because there's going to be points where customers don't want to talk to you, people aren't responding to you, the engineering problems are too difficult to solve at particular moments. So yes, find talented people, but really have people who are willing to learn different aspects of the um, the game, and try to keep those people.
Got it. Okay. Um, so knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would have told yourself when you first started out?
Yeah, of course. I touched on this a little bit, but don't try to do everything by yourself. I struggled with ADHD like pretty much all my life. Very, very difficult for me to actually stick to one task at a time, or even just focus on a couple important things. Um, so what I started doing is I started keeping a log of the top 3 business drivers that drive our business right now, and I like I break down everything leads directly back to that. Every piece of work I do leads directly back to those 3 business drivers. And for a while, it felt like we were treading water because I kind of wasn't doing that. I was focusing on everything. I was trying to, become doing engineering, trying to program a bunch of stuff, trying to, build a variety of components. And at some point, I had to say, okay, I'll leave that to the people who are good at that and focus on what I need to do, which is at this point finding product market fit, improving sales, scaling the company, and all of that.
Yeah. So, what have you found has been the biggest help in scaling the business so far?
Um, it's really advisors. So right now, I said I'm 23 years old. I just graduated from university, and I don't have extensive experience like a lot of startup founders in the space do. Um, and so learning to listen to people who've been there before, and who are willing to help you through the process, as well as just give you advice on what to do. I think that's really important. For example, one of our initial plans was to actually just ground test the system and say, okay, then we'll go and we'll try to do an in-orbit demonstration at some point in the future. Our plans pretty much only led up to ground testing and demonstration in that manner. But I recently spoke to another startup founder, Mr. Daniel Faber, at the IAC conference, and it was only like a 45-minute conversation, but it was really instrumental in the way that he said the quicker you get to space, um, you know, the probably the better off you'll be. And I took that advice, and he said, take that as you will. I'm only one person, but I took that and I said, okay, I'll do more research. So really having good people around you to create a spark in you to go out and do more research and figure out if this is the right decision for your company is a very, very important way to actually scale and build your company, in my opinion.
That's awesome. So yeah, like really talking to people that have been in the industry for a while can be incredibly valuable. So if you could make one prediction about the future of the space industry, what would it be?
One prediction. I think, this may be a popular take already, but I think the more we go into the future, the more pervasive the space industry will become in people's lives. So yes, satellites do play a huge role already, but I feel you know as autonomy in systems grow, as the capabilities of satellites and systems grow, as well as the advent of like commercial space stations that are going up there, and the mega constellations and all these new architectures in space and spacecraft are coming about. I think that you're already seeing lots of improvement in remote sensing. I think that's going to continue, especially as machine learning and autonomy come into the system. I think that distributed satellite systems that can manage themselves is a really, really big future technology that will come about and that will play a huge role, as well as the swarm robotic stuff that's coming out. So I think um, the space industry is going to benefit heavily from autonomous technologies, as well as play a bigger role in the human experience.
Yeah. Wow. So really exciting. So I want to thank you so much for making time to be here today. I'm sorry that I'm having a coughing fit during our interview.
You're okay.
Hopefully we'll have you back again when I'm not having a coughing fit. In any case, so interesting to hear about what AV SpaceTech is working on, and I would love to have you back on again to maybe go into a little bit more detail about your technology and where you guys are headed for the future.
Yeah, of course. It was a great experience. I'd love to come back.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.